In exercise 11-6, we are given Lewis Company's standard labor cost of producing 1 unit of product DD to be 4 hours at the rate of $12 per hour. During August, 40,600 hours of labor are incurred at a cost of $12.15 per hour to produce 10,000 units of product DD. They've asked us to compute the total labor variance, the labor price variance, and labor quantity variance. And then in part C, they're asking us to repeat what we have done in part B, assuming that standard hours is 4.1 and the direct labor rate is 12.25. So let's start with the first piece. To start with, we have 4 hours in labor per unit. It's $12 per hour, giving us $48 per hour per unit that is manufactured. We manufactured 10,000 units. So for 10,000 units, we should have used 40,000 hours, and at $12 per hour, our total labor cost should be 480,000. Well, what actually happened over here? We did produce 10,000 units. The hours spent was 40,600. That's 600 more than we planned. And the hourly rate was $12.15. That's 10 cents more than we had planned. So we already know what's going to happen. Our variance is going to be unfavorable all the way through. Okay? So just as you are done with material variance, we calculate the labor rate variance to be actual hours times actual rate or times standard rate. We'll do it twice. Okay, so let's do that calculation and see what it works out to. So the actual hours is 40,600. The actual rate was $12.15. The standard was 12, leaving us with a variance of 6,090. Is this a favorable or unfavorable variance? It's an unfavorable variance. Okay, remember when it's a cost, a positive number works out to be unfavorable. We are saying that it's higher, the cost is higher. Okay, so what I actually paid is 6,090 more because of the rate being higher, 15 cents higher. Let's go through the same motions to calculate the quantity variance. Quantity variance, we're going to do at the standard rate, and the standard rate was $12 per hour. The actual hours, it should be actual hours over here, and standard hours. Okay. So $12 per hour is a standard rate. The actual hours was 40,600. The standard hours, it should have been 40,000. Again, did we spend more time or less time on the job? We spent more time on the job, 600 more hours. Therefore, this is also an unfavorable variance. Both of these are unfavorable variances. So if both of these are unfavorable variances, what's going to happen in the next box that we have here? We're looking at total variance. We already know these numbers are going to be combined over here for the total labor variance. You combine these two numbers to come up with the total labor variance, and obviously that number is also unfavorable. There's nothing to offset it. Both my hourly rate and the hours used were higher, so all numbers are unfavorable all the way around over here. Okay, in part C, what have they told you? Assume that the standard is 4.1 hours and direct labor is 12.25. Okay, so we'll use that same information, put that down over here and see what we come up with. Okay, so if you look at the previous one, standard was 4. Now they're saying standard is 4.1. Cost per hour, 12.25 versus 12 over here. Okay, the rest of the information is the same. So based on that, I should have spent 41,000 hours. I actually spent 40,600, which means less time. The actual rate is, the standard rate is 12.25, but I actually paid 12.15. So just looking at these numbers, I know that I'm going to have favorable variances. I write down the formula as I did before, plug in the numbers, and let's see if that works out. So yes, my first variance is favorable as expected. The rate variance, because I spent 10 cents less, is favorable. Now let's look at the quantity. Labor quantity variance, that's basically again looking at how much time was spent. 400 hours less was spent. So again, what happens over here? This is a favorable variance. So when I combine the two numbers, I'll come up with this answer, which is the total variance. And in order to do that calculation, I'm looking at the actual hours times actual rate, standard hours times standard rate. Okay, when I do this calculation, what I come up with again, I'm combining two favorable variances to come up with a favorable variance of 8,960. That's that much less that I spent on labor. The job may have been easier, my employees may be more efficient. There could be any number of reasons why the time spent was a little less than expected. And paying my employees less, that there's a whole host of reasons why that could happen. Typically, if you have newer employees, they start at a lower wage rate. If you have more senior employees working, they're compensated at a higher wage rate. So the same job, depending on who works on the job, you could have that variance.